Title: The Starting of Football in the World. Introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, today, I would like to take you on a journey into the rich and exciting history of the world's most popular sport, football. Known as soccer in some parts of the world, football is more than just a game. It is a global passion, a uniting force, and a way of life for millions. But where did it all begin? Ancient origins. The story of football goes back thousands of years. Ancient civilizations played ball games long before modern football was born. In China, during the Han Dynasty, around 2,000 years ago, people played a game called cuzhou. It involved kicking a leather ball through a small hole in a piece of cloth tied between two poles. This was probably one of the earliest known forms of football. The Greeks and Romans also had their own versions of the game. The Romans played harpastum, a game that involved both kicking and carrying the ball. It was more physical and similar to rugby than modern football. In Mesoamerica, long before European contact, the Aztecs and Mayans played ball games using rubber balls. These games were often linked to religion and ceremony, and they had different rules, but the idea of moving a ball in a competitive way was already present. These early games didn't have standard rules and were very different from what we see today, but they planted the seed of what would eventually become modern football. Medieval Europe. In medieval Europe, particularly in England, people played a rough version of football during festivals. This version had very few rules, and hundreds of people joined in. The ball would be kicked through streets, fields, and even rivers. These early matches were chaotic. There were no referees, no limits on the number of players, and sometimes the games turned violent. The goals were far apart, sometimes even located in different towns. Because of the violence and public disorder, several kings, including King Edward II and King James I of England, tried to ban football during the 14th and 15th centuries. But no matter how many times it was banned, the people's love for the game kept it alive. The birth of modern football. The turning point in football history came in the 19th century in England, especially in schools and universities. Institutions like Eton, Harrow, and Cambridge began to develop their own rules for football. However, different schools had different rules. Some allowed handling the ball, others didn't. This confusion led to the need for standard rules. In 1863, a major event happened. The Football Association, FA, was founded in London. This marked the official beginning of modern football. The FA created the first standardized rules, which banned the use of hands and separated football from rugby. Soon after, football clubs started forming. The world's first football club is believed to be Sheffield Football Club, founded in 1857. The sport quickly spread throughout Britain, and by the late 1800s, football had grown into a more organized and professional sport. Football goes global. British sailors, traders, and workers helped spread football to the rest of the world. By the late 19th and early 20th centuries, football had reached South America, Africa, Asia, and Europe. In Argentina, Brazil, and Uruguay, the sport grew rapidly. South America became a powerhouse in football, producing many world-class players and national teams. In Europe, countries like Italy, France, Germany, and Spain developed their own clubs and leagues. Football became a key part of national identity. In Africa and Asia, football also grew in popularity, especially during and after colonial times. Local clubs and national teams started forming, and by the mid-20th century, the sport had truly become global. FIFA and the World Cup. To govern the growing sport, FIFA, Fédération Internationale de Football Association, was established in 1904. FIFA became the global authority of football, organizing international competitions and helping to promote fair play. In 1930, FIFA organized the first FIFA World Cup in Uruguay. Only 13 countries participated, but it was a great success. Uruguay became the first country to win the World Cup. Since then, the World Cup has become the biggest football tournament in the world, held every 4 years. It brings together nations, cultures, and billions of fans. Football is now played in almost every country on Earth. Modern era and global impact. Today, football is more than a sport. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry, with famous clubs like Manchester United, Real Madrid, Barcelona, and Bayern Munich leading the way. Players like Pelé, Diego Maradona, Zinedine Zidane, Cristiano Ronaldo, and Lionel Messi have become global icons, inspiring